The Square Ball Podcast.
Hello, welcome to the show. It's brought to you along with Levi Solicitors, who will do you a 10% discount on your legal fees. levisolicitors.co.uk/the square ball. It's Dan, Michael and Rob here. Michael, you've taken your hat off for this. I mean, this is a special video-only introduction as well. You don't get this on the audio version, but what you do get to see on the video version is, look at that. It's the Willie Nonto mug, which is back in stock and on sale now, isn't it?
Very much so, yeah. We've got loads done this time.
Absolutely.
They did sell out quickly the first time.
Flew out, didn't it?
We weren't sure if people were just sick to death of Leeds United when we made the first batch, but it turns out not.
So now we've ordered 20,000.
Yeah, we'll be trying to... these will be a fiver in summer when we sell them. But hang on, if I were you.
No, don't buy them.
No, buy them now. Buy them now.
We should mention that what you could do is you could put a hot or indeed a cold beverage in that, and you could sip that while you are employing the services of Levi Solicitors, who will do so many different things, won't they?
Well, you can do the appointment from home, so you can drink out your Willie Nonto mug, as opposed to going in, because it's a bit awkward to take your own mug to a meeting.
Yeah, don't do that. You can sit at home, can't you? Boil the kettle, get yourself a cuppa, and then have your remote appointment with Levi Solicitors, which they do now, by the way, and so can therefore help you no matter where you are in the country. Get in touch with them via the website, levisolicitors.co.uk/the square ball. Part 2 now then, as we look ahead to the Saints marching into town on Saturday. Are you excited? I'm quite looking forward to this. I don't know why. It's, you know you're alive with these games, don't you? When everything's on the line and it feels like it's an absolute must-win. This is, as Phil said on the Phil Hay Show, this is what football's all about.
We've had loads of must-win games, haven't we? I'm not sure we've won any so far this season of our must-win games, which probably explains why we're in the bottom 3.
But this is a real must-win. It's not just that, look, we need to get something from this. This is if we don't win this, we're knackered. This is everything on the line game.
Suppose. Forest felt must-win. West Ham at home felt must-win.
This is must-y a win.
Everton felt must get something from. This is must-win.
This is
sack the manager if you don't win.
This is try and avoid the chance of going down. Win is this one, because if we lose this, we are in. Well, it's as good as not done, is it? But
it looks a long way back, doesn't it?
If you're losing at home to the bottom team, who you consider yourself to be better than, which I presume they do at Elland Road, then it is an awful long way back, Michael.
I mean, I was kind of feeling quite settled down about this game, but now I've just heard you two talk about that and kind of panicked.
It's just the whole future of Leeds United on the line. That's all we're saying.
Again, nothing changes. There's always sort of that.
It's not, though. Even if we go down, we'll be fine. We've been there before. We can come back up. It's all right. And I know that's easier said than done. It's always an absolute mammoth task. But I'm not fearful of the Championship anymore. We know what it looks like. It's a dreadful place. Premier League's also dreadful. It's just the least worst option.
Yeah, they're both bad in different ways, aren't they? But let's try and stay in it for another year.
Oh, hell yeah. Let's cream that.
Just to see what happens. Maybe
grubby TV money in and hope that some sort of oil-rich state comes in with a dreadful human rights record and buys our way into the top table.
Yeah. Let's do that. Oh, God, I'm worried about it, I have to say.
Stop it. You worry about everything, though.
I'm less worried about this than I was the Everton game. The Everton game, even though they're terrible, but it was like the whole thing of going to their ground, they're really up for it. We've just had 2 difficult games against scum. Whereas this, after the Everton game, I sort of convinced myself that we'd bottomed out and it couldn't get any worse. I suppose
that's how I feel about
this weekend will be a good test of that.
And it feels like we've shifted track as well a little bit. Like, okay, we bottomed out there on that route. Hopefully this is a slightly different paradigm now, and the Gracia era begins with something that's better than we saw before.
It's got to be, hasn't it? It's got to be better than Everton.
Well, it can't get much worse, can it?
I think Everton was genuinely one of the worst performances I think I've ever seen from a Leeds team. In fact, it was. We'll come on to player ratings in Heroes and Villains, but it was the lowest rating. Like from the average ratings of all the players, it was our worst performance of the season by a fair distance. Actually, it was 3.62 against Leicester 4.15. So there's a bit of a difference there, and it was fair. It was that low.
Having said that, though, you probably have seen Leeds play worse about 20 times.
Yeah, maybe. I suppose I've seen us lose heavily on several occasions. I suppose this felt like a game where realistically we should have been much better, and I expected us to be better, and then you turned up and it was just... I think it's because you could see how bad Everton were as well. I think that was the difficult thing to watch. It didn't feel like we were being picked apart by a team who were even having a vaguely good day. But it felt like we managed to lose to a team that were also having a bad day.
Take that as an example, though, Michael, and run with it and see that against bad sides, of which we are admittedly one, you don't have to have that much in you to beat them.
Okay.
So if we can beat Everton this week, if we can beat Everton this week and Southampton can beat us, fine.
What do you mean?
If they're what I mean
need
is
some clarity.
if they can be as shit as we were against Everton and we can just be slightly better, then we'll be all right. We'll win.
Okay.
And what I'm saying is, can we adopt those roles? Can we reverse it? That actually, when you're down at this end of the table, your football teams are generally quite bad. We just need to be least worst on Saturday.
I get what you mean.
Yeah. Does that make sense?
Is that
now?
what we're aiming for?
Well, I mean, to be honest,
Any win you take, don't you, at this stage?
you'd snap their arm off for 17th now, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I was going to say, we're aiming to be the 4th worst team in the Premier League. That's all it is till the end of the season now, isn't it? Like, the way results have gone, it is almost a shootout of, how many games is it, 15?
15 left now, yeah.
It's weird how the defeat at Everton seems to have cut us off at the bottom. But actually, if we can win this, we do then bring back into play a whole group of teams above, don't we? We bring back, arguably all the way up into Palace, looks like, in view potentially, if we can get a win here. But if we don't, Christ, it's a long way back. And I mean, the weekend was dreadful as well for other teams winning. I know West Ham lost at Spurs, didn't they? Which was did us a bit of a favour, but we really could have done without Southampton. And
it's only Chelsea after this. They're terrible.
Yeah,
and we'll be organised and flying under Javi by then.
I mean, hopefully, yeah. It does look very toxic at Chelsea at the moment, doesn't it? No one seems very happy, despite the enormous wealth of players that they've got there. Everyone's like, well, it's playing all the wrong ones.
They've hit the point where they're all just. I mean, we heard from the clips in propaganda, actually, didn't we, earlier in the week? They hate Potter. They hate what it is.
Did you see him?
They're just waiting for him to get kicked out now.
Did you see the clip of a stream that happened the other day where a man fired a shotgun out of a window?
Yeah.
And then says, I didn't realise I had the camera on.
What? What are you doing?
Just watch the man kill someone. What's he doing? You can't fire a shotgun out of a window.
That internet, eh? It's wild, isn't it?
Anyway, Southampton, though.
Yes, strengths. Shooting from direct free kicks, very strong. That's their only very strength. So we should probably avoid doing that.
It was last year, the game at Elland Road against Southampton, where I can't remember which player it was in LUTV commentary. It was either Forshaw or Bamford, one of the ones that are always injured. But he was saying, when we gave away the free kick to Ward-Prowse, who then scored it, he was like, oh no, you can't give away a free kick, it's as good as a penalty. And he kept repeating that line, and then whoever got interviewed on the pitch after the game was like, oh, we gave away a free kick, it's like giving away a penalty. And they'd clearly been told in training all week, don't give away a free kick because it's like giving away a penalty. So just don't make any fouls on the edge of the box, basically.
If we could show their players wide and foul them out there.
They're going all Red Bull again though, aren't they? So they won't go wide.
What if we make them?
That's Javi's magic.
Yeah, but they've got Ruben Sellers in charge now, who's a sexy young man.
Well, who would have thought this then anyway? Weaknesses, their very weakness, defending against attacks down the wings. Who would have thought, etc. So if we could use some width.
Finishing scoring chances as well, almost like it's a design.
Yeah.
Not a bug.
And keeping possession of the ball.
God, this all sounds familiar.
Like looking into a mirror, isn't it? Dear Lord.
But I mean, they have, Rodrigo aside, the same issue of us as well, in that they have strikers who don't really score goals. Ward-Prowse with 6 is their top scorer, then Che Adams with 4. A man we will be linked with forever.
Not anymore.
Do you not think?
Nah, I think that ship's sailed now.
Just wait till we've loaned out Rutter and then we can get Che Adams in.
For the championship campaign next season. So we know what we have to do. I mean, what encourages me about what Javi has said, I said that like he's my mate, but what he said, what's been said in the coverage about him coming in was how they were impressed, the hierarchy, with his breakdown of the Chelsea-Southampton game and how how Southampton managed to win that. How he's going to look to set up against them, some of the weaknesses that Leeds have displayed in recent times. I mean, he might not be a football genius, but hopefully he's got enough for us to be better than them.
I am intrigued by what he does, because as much as there's been talk of, he was 4-4-2 at Watford or even 4-2-2-2, part of his coaching at other places has just kind of been seeing what the players are like when he gets there and having tactics that fit to them rather than being, no, you have to play to my style. So it will be interesting whether he does change things around or kind of stick to a similar shape and a similar team to what we've had recently. I wouldn't actually be surprised if it's very, very similar to the previous 2 weeks.
I think the difference is probably coming in really subtle ways. I mean, again, I'm going to fall back on your coaching expertise here, Michael, as always, which I'm sure you expected that, is that it should just be those little tweaks of what to do in possession, where players need to run, just little things to...
So sometimes I use the blue cones, sometimes the red cones. I just keep them guessing.
Yeah, kick it towards that one.
Those little ladders that you do the little steppy steps in.
Yep, yeah.
I sometimes put them 90 degrees, change it around from keep it fresh.
Yeah.
Some of this coaching stuff.
How do you find it works?
Always well.
Yeah.
You've not seen one of my teams lose, have you?
You're right, absolutely. Absolutely correct. But do you know what I mean in terms of just positioning under certain patterns of play, certain circumstances, give each other outlets?
I think it was one of his former players was saying how they always knew where to pass the ball and where a teammate was going to be and that kind of movement and things like that, which is what we've not had.
Since Bielsa.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I that's what I want to see, essentially. Some plan of what to do with the ball rather than pump it down the middle or give it to Nonto, which have been the two plans since Nonto arrived.
Because when we've been in possession this season up to sort of this point, what we've tend to see is it getting kicked around at the back a little bit. Very occasionally there were spells when we actually looked like we knew what to do and get it into midfield and through midfield.
Very occasionally.
But unfortunately, most of the time it just looked like tapping it around at the back until somebody ended up slinging it forward to somebody else or hoping that a ball would get forced through, or one of those mad Diego Llorente passes that would go up to the centre forward and it either would stick or wouldn't. Or
it's weird because I occasionally still watch goals we scored in the Championship to make myself happy again. And
I did that the other night, actually.
And happy or sad, I'm not sure which it is.
I think I said the other week, I watched that full, I think it's a 27-minute video of every promotion goal that we scored, and that made me happy and sad in equal measure because I thought, what a great memory. Oh, but it's a memory.
It's kind of like watching a wedding video when she's left you.
Right.
And you've been like, oh, God, it was a good day. But
Is that your feeling on your wedding video? But she's still there, tolerating it.
No, she's still there.
Grimly enduring it.
Still there for now. Very much on a... what's Grassi's contract? Is it flexible?
Flexible, yeah.
Flexible contract.
It's a flexible marriage.
It's a flexible marriage. That sounds swingerish. Which is fact, to my knowledge, it isn't.
That's a little bit pampas grass in the front yard, isn't it?
A little bit, yeah. I can't remember where I was going now. I'm going completely... But
got into swinging again.
Watching back on those goals, we used to score goals in a way that looked designed and constructed. Like it would be a pass to him, a pass to them, a pass into midfield. Pablo does this, a winger overlaps there. The ball goes wide, it comes in, someone scores. Whereas
and it all
goals this year are a bit more,
it happened.
Whatever.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because that's one of the things I've taken away from it. And as time goes on, I'm starting to think what Scotty Parker said about us playing in scripted patterns. He was right, wasn't he?
Well, he was right, but it was good.
It's just he had no right to say it. Anyway, and he's shitting. Where is he now? Belgium?
Noah Lang's angry at him, isn't he?
Oh, is he?
Stormed down the tunnel the other day, calling all his teammates something or other.
How's he doing over there, actually? I don't know.
Lots of draws, not many wins. I think it's like 1 win and 6 draws in 7 or something like that.
Oh, okay.
He was managing in the Champions League, wasn't he, the other night?
Yeah.
That's not right, is it?
No.
Yeah, he's. I've just looked him up.
Is he Bruges?
There are calls for him to be sacked. Is what the first thing I'm reading. So good. I mean, that was even old Schroeder managed to do a job there, didn't he?
At Bruges.
Yeah. So Parker's worse than Schroeder.
So did Colin Farrell.
That's true.
Back to the game at the weekend. Michael, call it.
Win. Based on nothing.
I actually think we will win. I think...
New manager bounce, Rob.
Yeah, and the players have got it out of the system at Everton. Just can't be like that again. Play better. Southampton don't... Well, did they fluke it a little bit at Chelsea? Did Chelsea have a lot of chances?
It's just Chelsea are terrible.
Yeah, Chelsea did have a lot of chances.
Ward-Prowse did his free kick.
Yeah.
And lightning doesn't strike twice like that, we know that.
Absolutely. The 6 free kicks or whatever James Ward-Prowse has scored this season.
Suggest that.
Yeah, I don't know if he has scored 6 this year goals, but I don't know if they were all free kicks.
I'm going to say this:
yes.
if we do concede a free kick on the edge of the area, again referring to your expertise here, would you suggest we just put all 11 men on the line?
It's an option, or at least put men on posts because I know it creates a horrible amount of chaos where everyone just then pushes forward
because they can then sit behind the wall. Can't
but given the alternative is just letting him have a shot, over a wall that isn't effective because he can get it up and down really well. Don't know. Or do that thing where someone runs back to the line.
Who did we do that with in the last couple of years? Was it like Dan James or something? And he couldn't quite reach it. I might have made this up.
No,
but it
I
was
think
something like
you're
that.
right.
But yeah, it was like we put the smallest player on the post and it just went over his head.
Yeah, I mean, who's
Get
the
Willie Nonto on it.
I mean, Willie Nonto was marking Conor Cody at the last game, wasn't he? So who knows what madness will.
You can only use the tools at your disposal.
Willie Nonto could climb the post if that was going to be an option. If he's not going to be able to reach it, you'll have to climb up the goal
I was
post.
going to suggest that. Can you scramble up the net like it was an army assault course? Maybe not. No.
I think it's probably illegal.
Well, you're not allowed to bang the crossbar anymore, are you? Like for a penalty kick, the crossbar's got to be still.
Well,
as a
Nonto and
keeper,
Somerville
so.
are best of friends, so maybe they could be on each other's shoulders.
Oh, like
Big
they were-
coat over him.
Yeah, in a trench coat.
yeah,
Yeah.
put them on the post in a trench coat.
We've changed our kits for this game. Big trench coats. Well, that's, I think, some great footballing insight from this one.
And if we don't win, it'd be fun and games at full time, won't it?
Bloody
In
will.
that West Stand,
Tell you what,
Victor Alta windmilling his way out.
he really will. I think he'd probably try as well.
Yeah, I don't think he'll say sorry.
No,
'Cause it's not. It doesn't seem to be his style.
no. So you're going reluctant home win.
Home win, less reluctant. Maybe not that optimistic though.
Total blind confidence home win,
3-0.
at least.
At least.
5.
5-0?
5.
5. What? Let them have one.
No, let's replicate the 7-0
Okay.
from the 70s.
We're not asking too much of you, Javi, but just to replicate one of the greatest ever Leeds performances.
Imagine if we actually went out and spanked them 5-0, what that'd feel like. That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
They do have a 9-0 in them, don't they?
That's true. They've not done one this year, have they?
9-0 then.
I mean, seems a little bit over the top compared to my 7-0 prediction, Michael. But no, I'd just be happy with a win. I think we've got it in as we're overdue a win. We're a side that should be winning more games than we have done. All that points towards a win.
Yep.
We do have to win eventually, don't we? Do we?
Law
It's
of
been
averages.
so
Yeah.
long. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and we can't have the least wins in the whole football pyramid in any division or whatever it is that we are now.
I don't know. Can we?
I know.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm saying, I'm not happy with that, so let's change it.
Yeah, okay.
That's my logic.
I'd accept 8-1.
Yeah.
It's the least I accept.
Ward Prowse will score a free kick.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
if we can get 8, that's fine.
Part 2 done and dusted. Then Heroes and Villains on the way for you in Part 3. Look out for that one in your feed.
The Square Ball Podcast.